I'd like to talk about some interval moves, give you a melodic etude that might be of interest and some fun. It's just a way of looking at intervals in the board. I have a lot of fun improvising with this style, playing things like you heard there at the beginning, just as a way of connecting up the fingerboard and moving the fingers, staying in a key if you wish to do that, or modulating if you wish to do that. We'll maybe talk about both of those things here. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. Like, share, and leave a comment. And let's get started here. So I'm going to start with some little, maybe just that much to begin with, and give you some sense of how these 10th intervals with moving melodic lines hook up. So what we're going to be doing, if we start here with D and F, the formula is going to be we start with a 10th, which simply means 10 scale degrees between the two pitches. Think of it as a protractor or compass that's widening out or coming in. So with this, we're going out to a 10th rather than a 6th or a 3rd. It's an interval distance. As George Van Epp says, it's an air gap. There's all this room in between these two pitches. It's a solid place, and then there's air in between. It's an air gap. So D and F would come down to E. I'm using this team of 2 and 4, fingers 2 and 4, meaning if we number the fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 2 and 4. Then we're going to keep second finger on the 4th string. So this is 12, 13, 12. And now 9 and 10 is a 10th. This is A and D. We go down to the proper interval for staying in this key of no sharps and no flats. So F, E, D, C. We could do them all by tenths, but we're not going to do that. We're going to have 1/10 with a melodic neighbor below. That's really the way to think of it, is it's an interval and then a movement below. If we were to do this, say, above, it would have a different contour and a different sound, but here we're doing with the neighbor below. Pretty standardized way to think of it in terms of upper and lower neighbors. So even just doing something like this, good for flow, good for the fingers and the brain and the ears. Let's see if we can make something up right here. I'm just moving, not really concerned about keeping any key going, anything other than just moving the fingers in roughly that way. It's really fun. It's a fun way to set yourself free on the fingerboard. So now, if we go down another 3rd, because what we're doing here in the bass is leaping thirds, 3 steps. I hope you can hear that that's all staying in the key. I'm leaping the 3rd and coming up a step, leaping a 3rd, coming up a step, leaping a 3rd, coming up a step. Now the difference in step size, be it whole step or half step, will depend on where we are in the scale. So your ear will tell you, I think, because if you hit something outside the key pretty quick, I hope your antenna will go up and you'll say that maybe that wasn't the choice we were looking to make, if we want to stay strictly diatonic. Again, diatonic just means one scale is running the whole show. So now here's G and B, 10 and 12 on the 5th and 2nd strings. I'm using first finger, little finger, and coming underneath to get the lower neighbor, because that's what our pattern is. So we're going to move from G and B, A passing. Here's E and G, another 10th, 7th, and 8th fret. So that might be where we'd stop, but of course this thing can continue as a formula. If you think neighbor below, 10th with a neighbor below, 10th with a neighbor below. We have G and F here. Now I'm using middle finger, 2nd finger for my bass, G and F. E and G with an F natural, and then C and E, 3 and 5 with D below. So C and E, 3 and 5. What if we ran that all together? See, now I put myself up against it because I didn't use the right fingering that would lead comfortably down. So if we're looking to get something below the fretting finger, we can't use this very readily unless we do George Van Eps's 5th finger principle, but you can't always grab that quickly on the run. So you could go inside to the 3rd string, but it's maybe less efficient. If you did want that 2nd sound for things to ring, then maybe you would go inside, but I'm looking at this mainly as a 2-string study. So from C, 3 and 5, now we can go to A and C. 5th and 5th fret of the 6th and 4th strings, a 10th, neighbor below, B, 4th fret, all the way down to F here. 1 and 2 on strings 6 and 3. I picked the wrong fingering again. That's the one. Those were slightly different because I was ascending and we're going from below. All on 1 string, or 2 strings, sorry. Shows you the way I'm thinking. I think of this as one thing. Now interestingly, if we look at the chords, D and an F coming to E, to me sounds like G7, resolving to C. D and B with a C neighbor, it sounds like G7 to me. I'm resolving these to C so you can hear. Even this F and E, sorry, G and E sound a bit like G7 to me. It could also be C, first inversion, C, C, but I don't feel like it's arrived yet. There it's arrived home at C. So maybe it's a maybe a little 1 chord that wants to go to 5 and 1. This is all thinking of this key of 1 sharp. Sorry, no sharps, no flats. going straight down the scale. And here's some of our friends. We can also activate the bass. But maybe we'll do that another time. If you do look in the Melodic Motion Etudes playlist, there's a lot of things like this. They don't have explanations, but if you have questions, please ask, and I can try to follow up with another lesson at some point. So this is a little overview of moving voices, talking about fingerings, what chords might mean, what two voices might mean in terms of chords. And maybe you'll just start to recognize the sound of a tenth. It is a mighty interval. I hope you're enjoying your music today. If you have questions, please do let me know. And I do wish you a very good day.